Shalom, all praises to the Most High, all praises to His holy name. Back again, praise the Most High this morning, this day. I'm going to talk about the Kinsman Redeemer. We're going to put a little bit more Northern Kingdom light on what that means to the house of Israel and dispel what the world of religion tries to make it mean. I did a little research, even more into the explanation of it, but as I went into it in the etymology dictionary, it stayed true to the term, but then when they put Christianity into it, then it tries to, obscure the meaning. To look, in their terms, they're trying to make it everybody. So I said I wasn't gonna do it, but I'm gonna do it. Most High, thank you. See, it says the Kittim. We proved that the Kittim are the Romans. That's the family of Japheth, from the Isles of the Gentiles, and he said these are the enemies of God in this book of remembrance of Melchizedek, including the little book of John the Revelator, page 49. I'm not going to read it all to you, but I read it before. But it says the enemies of God are the Kittim, the family of Japheth, the Romans. And then it says, and of a final destruction for all the lot of Belial. He says they're all the lot of Belial, the devil. And there should be immense confusion for the sons of those who deceive with enticing flatteries, Japheth. And Babylon shall fall without help from any man, and the dominion of the Kittim shall vanish. Their wickedness may be crushed without a remnant, and without any survivor for all the sons of darkness. So he, in this text here, he's calling the Romans, who are the Kittim, and all these stem from the family of Japheth. And then, we found out that Japheth and the Romans and Esau became one kingdom. In Jasher chapter 90, verse 1 through 11. So that's all those of his lot. This is the border of wickedness. So if this is the border of wickedness and they're his enemies, his eternal enemies, how is he going to save them? How do you going to put them in the same bunch of those he's redeeming? He can't redeem them and destroy them at the same time. But he said this is going to be without any survivor for all the sons of darkness. So just making that clear based on scripture. So to get rid of the confusion that Christianity is caused by those men who created Christianity, which is the sons of darkness. And then if that wasn't enough, go to the sealed portion to see who's fighting against the elect. And I'm going to show you that these same sons of darkness are the ones that's fighting the elect. This is the reason why he had to redeem us. First of all, for the redemption of our own sins, but at the same time, we have to redeem us from some people. That's the part they don't really tell you about in Christianity, because they're the ones that we can redeem from. Of course, we have to repent for our own sins, but at the same time, we have a real enemy. The sealed portion, chapter 65, verse 2. And the true saints of God, who were his elect, See, the elect are the true saints of God. Were persecuted and slain by the hands of the Romans and by the consent of those leaders of the Christian faith who had made alliances with the Romans and the other governments of the earth. See, the Romans and other governments of the earth. That's all of those people he said don't marry, don't make covenants with. Just doing a little more for another scripture. I'm searching another scripture right now. That's what the delay is. Revelation 18. Which is basically saying the same thing I just read. We're talking about not a remnant of the left. 18 and 20. Rejoice over her, you heaven. Speaking about the elect. You holy apostles and prophets. For God has avenged you on her. Avenged you on her. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. Babylon, church of the devil. Let's read a little bit about it. Sealed portion, chapter 79. The Americas are discovered and conquered in wickedness. And it shall come to pass among the nations of this great European empire, which shall be formed from other nations and kingdoms of the earth. These are the same people, these governments that came against the elect, the heavens, that he said for us to rejoice over. These people, the Romans, Japheth, Esau, and the like. And it shall come to pass among the nations of this great European empire, which shall be formed from other nations and kingdoms of the earth, that a group of people who shall travel across the oceans and establish themselves in the land of my fathers, yet these shall begin to prosper exceedingly in all things. And there shall also be the rich among them, who shall become rich from the land. See? And there shall also be the rich among them, also, who shall become rich from the land and the things that they shall take from the land of my fathers. For behold, the Lamanites, the American Israelites, shall be upon the land when it is discovered by these great European nations of the latter days. The great European nations of the latter days. Isles of the Gentile. Genesis chapter 10, 1 through 5. These are the true Gentiles. And at this time, they should be a humble people having their own tribes and nations upon the land, talking about the American Israelites, the Lamanites. And though the spirit of Yahweh shall not be with them directly, that's because at that time our ancestors had been over, because they came here in about 600 BC. They had left the doctrine of the truth. They only had a remnant of it through traditions. They were strangers to the true law. And though the spirit of Yahweh shall not be with them directly, they shall remember many of the teachings of their fathers and begin to establish peace among themselves according to their traditions and the customs which shall pass down to them from generation to generation. And it shall come to pass that Lucifer shall influence the discovery of the land of promise, which is filled with all manner of precious things, which are the desires of this great and abominable church. See how it referenced that these European nations are the great and abominable church. And it shall come to pass that Lucifer shall influence the discovery of the land of promise, which is filled with all manner of precious things, which are the desires of this great and abominable church, of which I have spoken. Wait a minute, you ain't never said anything about the great and abominable church before. But you said of which you have spoken. The only thing you've spoken about is the great European nation empire. Oh, okay, that's what you mean then. You talking about they're one and the same. Oh, okay, I get it now. And when the promised land is discovered by the people of the great European empire, they should begin to search for gold and silver and for anything that is of value to them. And it should come to pass that they shall begin to destroy the American Israelites who are the Lamanites and take from them their lands and force them into places which are desolate and void of the precious things that these European nations desire. That's why you can go to Ezekiel 35, where he promised them that he's going to do unto them as they've done unto all his people. Esau. He promised Esau that. And the American Israelites, who are the Lamanites, shall begin to dwindle in numbers and lose their nations and their lands to the effects of the lust of the great and abominable church. And the men who shall destroy the Lamanites, the American Israelites, shall think that they're doing God a service. Now, this is their doctrine that they teach at the abominable church. And they even have quote-unquote black people, quote-unquote Negroes, who know the truth but still have a secret agreement with them through the 501c3 agreement to not tell the people who they really are. So they go along with their doctrine, even though they're dark-skinned people, for a kickback. Because their belief system, this is their belief, this is their doctrine. Their doctrine is because they believe that the American Israelites and all those who are of a dark skin are those who have been cursed of God and not worthy of the full blessings of the Father. Even the Uncle Ruckuses among us that belongs to their system teaching these lies, this is their doctrine. Messiah in his day prophesied about our day, even though it was happening in his day. And the people he was talking about was these same dark-skinned people that they was talking about in their doctrine. Because the Messiah was also one of these dark-skinned men that we proven that they call niggers in the scripture. John 16:2. They should put you out of the synagogues. Yeah, the time cometh that whosoever killeth you would think that he's doing God service. That's what he told his disciples at that time, prophesying about our time. And the man who should destroy the American Israelites, the Lamanites, should think that they're doing God a service. Because their belief system is that the American Israelites and all those who are of a dark skin are those who have been cursed of God and not worthy of the full blessings of the Father. How did they know about this wickedness? Verse 10, and this wickedness shall be taught unto them by their leaders and their priests, who are all servants of Satan. So if any church you're going to, what they'll tell you, that they're not going to tell you that you're the Israelites, and that somebody else in 1948 are the Israelites, and they're teaching that doctrine, they're all servants of Satan. I don't care how much respect you got for them. You better lose some respect and respect the Father. And this wickedness shall be taught unto them by their leaders and their priests, who are all servants of Satan, and shall follow his will in all things. What they got to do with Kinsman redemption? That's what we're talking about. Been redeemed from all that foolishness. Part of the redemption is bringing you back to the knowledge of who you are and who he is and who the Heavenly Father is. Truly one nation under God. For you who are not so spiritual in carnal, George Clinton put it this way: one nation under a groove, getting down for the funk of it. You can understand that, can't you? Because can't nobody get down like you. Get down, Jack, like Richard Pryor would say. That's what distinguishes you from the rest of the nations. Can't nobody get down like you. Get down, Jack. And I looked up the term Jackson means, that's an Israelite name. I looked up Israelite names, and Jackson is one of them. Get down, Jack. And among the Jacks, couldn't nobody get down like Michael Jackson. Let's get started. We're gonna go to a few. I just put up Google. Speaking of Boaz, a story of God's providence and redemption. I'm just gonna go through a couple of things and see what it says. Then I'm gonna end it off as far as explanation according to definition in the Etymology Online Dictionary, and then I'll go to the scriptures for better explanation. According to the Northern Kingdom's light, being a light to the Gentiles. In Boaz, Naomi and her daughter-in-law, Ruth, found a kinsman redeemer, one whose responsibility was to act on behalf of a relative who was in trouble, danger, or need. A relative who was in trouble, danger, or need. Boaz demonstrates, perhaps better than any other in the Old Testament, how God and the law he established expected a kinsman redeemer to respond to. Then I just run into a little quick notation under that. It says, what is a kinsman redeemer? A kinsman redeemer is the result of putting those two words together and means the closest blood relative who willingly regains the possessions of something. Kinsman redeemer in the Bible, because I'm looking at the Bible tools just off the header, I didn't really go into them, I'm just reading what it says off the top. Male relative, who according to various laws found in Pentateuch had the privilege or responsibility to act for a relative who was in trouble, danger. Now, can you see now who the Messiah is to you and how you doing yourself a disservice if you reject the Messiah? He's literally your blood relative. That's what they know. That's why they hate you. I ain't saying you gotta rub people's face in it, but it don't hurt though, because they rub your face in a lot of stuff. But what I'm saying is, you can sing to yourself to uplift your spirit and sing the old quote unquote Negro spiritual that they even tried to teach you in school. I am somebody. From the highest to the lowest among us, if you have faith in the Messiah, you can get a little laughter and joy in your heart when you just think upon who and what he's done for you. And you can like kind of do like this a little bit and say, I am somebody. Like in the movie The Wiz. The Cowardly Lion said, my mama had great hopes for me. She named me Fleetwood Coopterville. A lot of other moms name their children stuff like Porsche, Mercedes. Now, that's your name, but you can have more pride than that in the fact that you know that the Kinsman Redeemer is the God of the whole world. And that's your relative. All praises to his holy name. We are somebody. See, that's why I read to give light to the Gentiles, because these same devils is always trying to replace us through their words. And if you don't know better, you'll believe them. Etymology Online Dictionary, Redeemer, early 15th century Redeemer, one who redeems, answers, or atones for another or others. That's why they snuck Christianity in on you. We just found out they're your enemies, according to the word. But then they stuck Christianity in there and say you're a Christian, now everybody can be saved. Everybody redeemed, even while they killing you. Early 15th century Redeemer, one who redeems, answers, or atones for another or others. Agent, noun for redeem. Originally, in the Christian sense, Jesus Christ as the Savior of the world. It replaced earlier redemptor. Let's see if that word redemptor pops up. Say Christianity replaced the earlier word redemptor. Let me think. Say redemptorist. Let's see. Redemptorist, member of a congregation of the Most High Redeemer. Found Naples, 1732 by Saint Alphonsus Licori. That sounds like one of them. 1835 in English, C. Reading. Noted for their missionary work among the poor. But it told us looking for a redemptor, but why can't you give us a redemptor? They gave a redemptorist. Why are you going to tell us something about a redemptor, but then don't give you a definition for it? They give you a redemptorist. Told is defined by them. So that's why you got to study, show yourself approved. And see, this is not really hate towards anybody. It's just the truth, man. You got to study, show yourself approved, because that's their nature. It's slippery. It's slimy. They'll tell you a lot of the truth and lead you to the truth, but then if you don't know, they'll try to slide a little bit of themselves in it all the time. So we're going to go through the book of Ruth, man, and women, men and women in Israel. Even if you are of Esau's lineage and you are trying to be right, that's the only people I'm talking to. Now, everybody listening, but I'm only talking about the righteous who are Israelites and those who are trying to be righteous in Edom. Because you got to, Most High going to call some of you by his name to serve us. And you're going to willingly do it because the alternative is not being around. He's already, that is his criteria. That's what he said. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. So I'm saying this for the righteous in Israel and those who are going to conform from Edom and try to become righteous to serve us by learning the Most High's ways. Because everybody's listening. And I'm going to be a light to the Gentiles. Because whether you believe it or not, it's going to happen regardless. Because his word don't return void. Why? Because this already happened. He's already been there. You already know what happened at the end. So I don't care how much you try to fight against it. That's just what's going to be because he's the Almighty. Everything is right before his face as one big happening at one time. It's only rationing it out to us as we go through temporal existence. But this has already happened already. That's how you already know what's going to happen. And you can't change it. Ruth, chapter 1. Elimelech and his family go to Moab because of famine. His sons marry. The father and the sons die. Ruth, the Moabitess, her husband having died, remains constant to Naomi. They come to Bethlehem. Now it came to pass in the days when the judges ruled. Judges 2:16. Nevertheless, the law raised up judges, which delivered them out of the hand of those that spoiled them. Mosiah 29, 11 through 44. I'm just going to read a little bit of this because we got too much to read, man. I'll be forever. When we got long scriptures, I'm going to ask you to read the rest. Especially, side scriptures that precepts. If they go like this long, 11 to 44, I'm just going to read a little bit and I'm going to ask you to read the rest for time's sake. Mosiah 29, 11 through 44. Therefore, I will be your king the remainder of my days. Nevertheless, let us appoint judges to judge this people according to our law. That's who's talking right now. When they preach this gospel, the truth of the gospel, we are the judges. They said, and saviors. Let's go here. Obadiah 1 and 21. And saviors shall come upon Mount Zion to judge the mount of Esau, and the kingdom shall be the laws. That's who these saviors are, the judges, judging according to his law. Mosiah 29, 11, 44. Therefore, I will be your king the remainder of your days, on my days. Nevertheless, let us appoint judges to judge this people according to our law. And we will newly arrange the affairs of this people. For we will appoint wise men to be judges that will judge this people according to the commandments of God. Verse 12. Now it's better that a man be judged of God than of a man, for judgments of God are always just, but the judgments of man are not always just. Therefore, if it were possible that you could have just men to be your kings, who would establish the laws of God. See, he said, I made you kings and priests. Talking about these just men in Israel. Therefore, if it were possible that you could just have just men to be your kings, just men to be your kings, who would establish the laws of God and judge this people according to his commandments. Yeah, if you could have men for your kings who would do even as my father Benjamin did for this people. I say unto you, if this could always be the case, then it would be expedient that you should always have kings to rule over. Ruth 1 and 1. Now it came to pass in the days when the judges ruled. That's what we're doing now. We're ruling by the decree of the Most High, according to his commandments, to teach the people his commandments. Including you who are considered the wicked in Edom, that's called by his name. Take heed that you may live. Now it came to pass in the days when the judges ruled that there was a famine in the land. And a certain man of Bethlehem, Judah, went to sojourn in the country of Moab. Bethlehem, Judah, they called the Ephraimites. That's a branch of Judah, but also of Ephraim. And a certain man of Bethlehem, Judah, went to sojourn in the country of Moab, he and his wife and his 2 sons. And the name of the man was Elimelech, which means my God is king. And the name of his wife was Naomi. And the name of his 2 sons, Malin and Chilion. That was the name of my natural father. Malin. Looked up that name. That's why you got to really know about the names that you're choosing to call yourself, because apparently spirits comes with those names. And when my grandmother on my dad's side named him Malin, I looked at the term Malin, which is a Hebrew name, Israelite name. It says one who is sickly. And my dad was. That's why he passed away at 27. And the name of the man was Amalek. And the name of his wife, Naomi. And the name of his 2 sons, Malin and Chilion. Ephrathites of Bethlehem, Judah. Genesis 35:19. Ephrathites. And Rachel died and was buried in the way of Ephrath, which is in Bethlehem. And they came in the country of Moab and continued there. See, this is why Messiah hid himself in Ephraim, because he came through this line. And they took them wives of the women of Moab. The name of one was Orpah, and the name of the other Ruth. And they dwelled there about 10 years. And Malin and Chilion died also, both of them. And the woman was left of her 2 sons and her husband. Then she arose with her daughters-in-law, that she might return from the country of Moab. So you got to consider also back then that in the ancient times, especially from the time of Adam on down to a certain time when people changed, everybody was dark skinned. Everybody was quote unquote Negro. Then she arose with her daughters-in-law, and that she might return from the country of Moab. For she had heard in the country of Moab how the law had visited his people and given them bread. She's told you there were some Israelites in Moab. Wherefore she went forth out of the place where she was, and her 2 daughters-in-law with her. And they went on the way to return unto the land of Judah. And Naomi said unto her 2 daughters-in-law, Go, return each to her mother's house. The law deal kindly with you as you have dealt with the dead and with me. You know, because her 2 sons is no longer there. So what's the point? Naomi was saying, what's the point of being with me then? No, your husband is here no more. Go back to your country, to your mother. The law grant you that you may find rest, each of you in the house of her husband. Then she kissed them, and they lifted up their voices and wept. And they said unto her, Surely we will return with you unto your people. And Naomi said, Turn again, my daughters. Why will you go with me? Are there yet any more sons in my womb, that they may be your husbands? Deuteronomy 25:5. If your brethren dwell together, and one of them die and have no child, the wife of the dead shall not marry without unto a stranger. Her husband's brother shall go in unto her, and take her to him to wife, and perform the duty of a husband, brother unto her. So he's telling you, in the family of Israel, the quote unquote Negroes, if your brother has a wife and your brother dies, the remaining brother got to marry her, got to marry his wife. So if I was you, I'm just talking, I would have a little insight into who my brother married, because after all, you got to marry next. If something unfortunate like that happens, hey brother, I'm looking at the wife you chose, man. First of all, her character ain't that good, and she ain't that fine either. Because after all, if something happened to you, I gotta marry her. So I got some stake in the matter. Nah, bro, nah, that ain't her. Mm-mm. I'm just talking. And Naomi said, "Turn again, my daughters. Why would you go with me? Are you yet any more sons in my womb? Are there yet any more sons in my womb that may be your husband? Turn again, my daughters, go your way. For I'm too old to have a husband. If I should say, I have hope if you should have a husband also tonight, and should also bear sons. Would you tarry for them till they were grown? Would you stay for them would you stay for them from having husbands? Nay, my daughters. I know, my daughter. For it grieveth me much for your sakes, that the hand of the law is gone out against me. And they lifted up their voice and wept again. And Orpah kissed her mother-in-law and went back. Therefore, she didn't have any Israelite children. She only had Moabites, the enemies of God. But Ruth claved unto her. Clave unto her. Held fast to, being an example or a sample. And she said, behold, your sister-in-law is gone back unto her people and unto her gods. See, she went back. That was by the decree of the Most High, though. Return you after your sister-in-law. And Ruth said, entreat me not to leave you, or to return from following after you. Love within the family. For whither you goeth, I will go. Loyalty. And where you lodgest, I will lodge your people. Brotherhood and sisterhood. The people of Israel is brotherhood and sisterhood in our nation. Israel shall be my people, and your God, my God. See, they got the Most High's attention. Conversion. Where you dieth, will I die, and there will I be buried. The law do so unto me, and more also, if aught but death part you and me. When she saw that she was steadfastly minded to go with her, then she left speaking unto her. Commitment, courage, courageous, perseverance, steadfastness, steadfast. So they went until they came to Bethlehem. And it came to pass when they were come to Bethlehem that all the city was moved about them. And they said, is this Naomi? And she said to them, call me not Naomi, pleasant. Call me Mara, a name given to Naomi by herself, which means bitter or very sad. For the Almighty has dealt very bitterly with me. See, my grandmother on my dad's side, that's the same way my grandmother's name, her name was Clementine. And she felt the same way because my dad was her favorite son. And she didn't want to speak to the Most High no more after that because she said God had dealt very bitterly with her. It was only until on her deathbed, literally, because he called me to run all the way home to read the scriptures to her. And I said, Mama, can I read the scriptures to you today? Because she didn't want to hear it before. She couldn't, the Most High took her voice away. So all she do was shake her head. So I read scriptures to her. At that moment, she submitted to the Most High. He had to take her voice away because she talked too much. And that wasn't disrespecting her. That was just, she cussed a lot too. So the Most High made her be silent so she can listen. For her sake. I went out full, and the law has brought me home again empty. Why didn't you call me Naomi? Saying the law has testified against me. See, this was her own words, though. Humbled me. So also in the Septuagint and the Latin Vulgate. And the Almighty is afflicted me. So Naomi returned, and Ruth the Moabitess, her daughter-in-law, with her, which returned out of the country of Moab, and they came to Bethlehem in the beginning of a barley harvest. Chapter 2. Ruth gleans in the field of Boaz, a near relative of Naomi. He treats Ruth kindly. And Naomi had a kinsman of her husband's, a mighty man of wealth, of the family of Elimelech, and his name was Boaz. Noted, in him is strength, swiftness, quickness. And Ruth the Moabitess said unto Naomi, let me now go to the field and glean. Leviticus 19:9. And when you reap the harvest of your land, you shall not wholly reap the corners of thy field, neither shalt thou gather the gleaning of thy harvest. Deuteronomy 24:19. When you cut it down, your harvest in the field, in your field, and has forgot a sheaf in the field, you should not go again to fetch it. It shall be for the stranger, or for the fatherless, and for the widow, that the Lord your God may bless you in all the works of your hands. And Ruth the Moabitess said unto Naomi, let me go to the field and glean ears of corn, after him in whose sight I shall find grace. Grain. And she said unto her, go, my daughter. And she went and came and gleaned in the field after the reapers. Who do you say? We say we're reaping right now. The judges, the angels. We stick it in our sickle to see the gathering, the harvest. And her hap was to light on a part of the field belonging to Boaz, who is the kindred of Elimelech. Chance, good fortune. And behold, Boaz came from Bethlehem and said unto the reapers, the law be with you. And they answered him, the law bless you. Then said Boaz unto his servants that was set over the reapers, whose damsel is this? And the servant that was set over the reapers answered and said, it is the Moabitess damsel that came back with Naomi out of the country of Moab. And she said, I pray you, let me glean and gather after the reapers among the sheaves. So she came, and has continued even from the morning until now, and she tarried a little in the house. Then said Boaz unto Ruth, heareth you not, my daughter? Go not to glean in another field, neither go from hence. So don't go glean in another field. Neither go from here. Stay here and glean. Leviticus 19:9. And when you reap the harvest of your land, you should not wholly reap the corners of your field. Neither shall you gather the gleaning of your harvest. See, that's what I'm trying to tell. When I told them to build that land, I told them for them to dwell outside, that they can also eat. So even there's a reward even for the Edomites if they obey. The remnant called by his name. Then said Boaz unto Ruth, heareth you not, my daughter? Go not to glean in another field, neither go from hence, but abide here fast by my maidens. Close. That's how that's how the Gentiles, the Edomites, who are called in the other nations called by his name, they got to stay close to us. That's why I said, whoever blesses you shall be blessed. Meaning you, me, the children of Israel, particularly the kings, the high priests. He said, whoever blesses you shall be blessed, and whoever shall curse you shall be cursed. So if they destroy us, he's not going to allow it to happen. But if let's say if they were able to do that, well, that's like surely they shall die. Surely, because he said they got to stay close to us. But not all. Only the ones that's called by his name to do it, because they're the ones he's going to use to make sure we blessed. And he said they will not serve us, or they will not be our servants or slaves. He's going to kill them. Will you allow me to use just a little humor for a few minutes? I'm going to try to keep it to a minimum. But don't stand so close to me, in the words of Sting. Don't stand so close to me. Cause I need another little bit of room so I can boom, shake it like a boom. Then said Boaz unto Ruth, hear thee, you not, my daughter. Go not to glean in another field, neither go from hence, but abide here fast by my maidens. Let your eyes be on the field that they do reap, and go thou after them. I have not charged the young men that they shall not touch you. Have I not charged the young men that they shall not touch you? That was a question. And when you are athirst, go unto the vessels and drink of that which the young men have drawn. Then she fell on her face and bowed herself to the ground. They said they would come bowing before you. And said to him, why have I found grace in your eyes, that you should take knowledge of me, saying I am a stranger? Notice. And by necessity, they said, we note that you were treated like cattle for over 150 years ago. But they said this to the Israelites. And because they're going to come in and acknowledge that to us, that we are who we say we are and the Most High say we are, we're going to acknowledge them who are righteous among them, who's learned the ways of our Father to serve us, as he said to them. But they're going to live without the borders. And Boaz answered and said to her, it has fully been showed me all that you have done unto your mother-in-law since the death of your husband. How many generations did it come before Messiah was anointed king at the roof? How many years did it take for David, Solomon, all the way down to Messiah? And how you has left your father and your mother in the land of your nativity and are coming to a people which you knew it not there heretofore. And the law recompense your work, and a full reward be given you of the law God of Israel, under whose wings you are come to trust. Doctrine and Covenants 70 and 15. See, but Boaz was an Israelite anyway, so that really didn't matter with him. But because Ruth was a stranger, her children had to go through a process of being cleansed to becoming fully Israelites before they can do their work, to be kings. Doctrine and Covenants 70 and 15. Now, this commandment I give unto you, to my servants, for their benefit while they remain, for a manifestation of my blessings upon their heads, for a reward of their diligence and for their security, under whose wings you are come to trust. Psalm 57 and 1. Be merciful unto me, O God, or Yahawah. Be merciful unto me, for my soul trusted in you. Yet in the shadow of your wings will I make my refuge until these calamities be overpassed. Then she said, let me find favor in your sight, O Yahawah, for that you have comforted me, and for you have spoken friendly unto your maiden. Friendship. Though I be not like unto one of your handmaidens. And Boaz said unto her, at mealtime come you hither, and eat of the bread, and dip your morsel in the vinegar. And she sat beside the reaper, and he reached her parched corn. And he reached her parched corn, grain. And she did eat, and was sufficed, and left some food. She left some food. And when she was risen up to glean, Boaz commanded his young men, saying, let her glean even among the sheaves, and reproach her not. And let fall also some of the handful of purpose for her, and leave them, that she may glean them, and rebuke her not. So she gleaned in the field until evening, and beat out that she had gleaned, and it was about an ephah of barley. And she took it up, and went into the city. And her mother-in-law saw that she had gleaned. And she brought forth and gave her that she had reserved after she was sufficed. And her mother-in-law said unto her, where have you gleaned today? And where wrought you? Blessed be he that did take knowledge of you. And she showed her mother-in-law. She told her mother-in-law with whom she had worked. And she told her mother-in-law with whom she had worked, and said, the man's name with whom I wrought or worked today is Boaz. And she told her mother-in-law with whom she had worked, and said, the man's name whom I wrought or worked today is Boaz. So she had to work in Boaz field. She's a servant and handmaid. And Naomi said unto her daughter-in-law, blessed be he of whom the law, who has not left off his kindness to the living and the dead. Ceased. Who have not ceased his kindness to the living and the dead. And Naomi said unto her, the man is near of kin to us. And Naomi said unto her, the man is near kin to us. One of our next redeemers, one of those having the right to redeem. The man is near of kin to us, one of our redeemers, one who of those having the right to redeem, kinsman, next kinsman. Kinsman, Ruth 3:9, 12 to 13. And he said, who art you? And she said, I am Ruth, your handmaid. Spread therefore your skirt over your handmaid, for you are a near kinsman. And now it is true that I am your near kinsman, howbeit there's a kinsman nearer than I. Tarry this night, and it shall be in the morning that if he will perform unto you the part of a kinsman, well, let him do the kinsman part. But if he will not do the part of a kinsman to you, then will I do the part of a kinsman to you. As the law liveth, lie down until the morning. And Ruth the Moabitess said, he said unto me also, you shall keep fast by my young men close until they have ended all my harvest. See, you got to keep close to these. Boaz representing a type of the Messiah, and us high priests being his young men. He said you got to stick close to the message, close to the keeping of the commandments. Until they have ended all my harvest. Reaping. If not, you don't keep close, he said he's going to kill you. He said, because you will not serve them, that nation that will not serve you, I'm going to kill them. I just put up the NIV. The Lord said to her, 2 nations are, okay, that ain't what I'm looking for. Isaiah 60:12. For the nation or kingdom that will not serve you will perish. I will be utterly, and it will be utterly ruined. Isaiah 68-22. Who are these that fly along like clouds, like doves to their nests? Surely the islands look to me. In the lead are the ships of Tarshish. Bringing your children from afar with silver and gold to honor the law, your God, the Holy One of Israel. For he has endowed you with splendor. Foreigners will rebuild your walls, and their kings will serve you. Nations. Nations with the ability to do something. The rich among them. Though in anger I struck you, in favor will I show you compassion. Your gates will always stand open, and they will never be shut day or night, so that the people may bring you the wealth of the nations. Their kings led in triumphal procession. For the nation or kingdom that will not serve you will perish. It will utterly be ruined. The glory of Lebanon will come to you. The juniper, the fir, the cypress together to adorn my sanctuary. I will glorify the place for my feet. The children of your oppressors will come bowing before you. All who despise you will bow down at your feet and will call you the city of the law, Zion of the Holy One of Israel. Although you have been forsaken and hated, with no one travailing through, I will make you the everlasting pride and the joy of all generations. You will drink the milk of the nations and be nursed at royal breasts. Then you will know that I, the law, am your Savior, your Redeemer, the mighty one of Jacob. Instead of bronze, I will bring you gold, and silver in place of iron. Instead of wood, I will bring you bronze, and iron in place of stone. I will make peace your governor, and well-being your ruler. No longer will violence be heard in your land, nor ruin or destruction within your borders. But you will call your walls salvation and your gates praise. Lift up your head, you gates, you holy prophets and apostles, and your gates praise. The sun will no more be your light by day, nor will the brightness of the moon shine on you. For the law will be your everlasting light, and your God will be your glory. Your sun will never set again, and your moon will wane no more. The law will be your everlasting light, and your days of sorrow will end. Then all of your people will be righteous, and they will possess the land forever. They are the shoot I have planted, the work of my hands, for the display of my splendor. The least of you will become 1,000, the smallest of a mighty nation. I am the law. And it's time I will do it this swiftly. That's why I say right now he's doing a quick work, a swift work. Ruth chapter 2, verse 21. And Ruth the Moabitess said, he said unto me also, you shall keep close by my young men until they have ended all my harvest. And Naomi said unto Ruth, her daughter-in-law, it is good, my daughter, that you go out with his maidens, that they meet you not in any field. Find you in any field. See? He said you better stay close. Because if they find you doing something in another field, it ain't gonna be so pleasant for you. You better be trying to help in this field, according to his commandments, sticking close to us. You gotta get back 4 times what you're taking, though. So she kept fast by the maiden. See, that's why he just showed you right there. They're gonna come with all the gold and silver and gifts and all of their wealth. That means they gave back 4 times what they taking. If you got $1 billion from off of your and you got more than that, but if you say you got $1 billion, you gotta bring back 4 billion. That's why I say they coming with all they will. And they gonna do it because he already prophesied. Because he seen it already. So she kept fast by the maidens of Boaz to glean until the end of the barley harvest and of the wheat harvest, and dwelt with her mother-in-law. Chapter 3. By Naomi's instruction, Ruth lies at the feet of Boaz. He promises a relative to take her as his wife. Why? In Ruth's case, she was the wife of his brother. Not his nearest brother, but his kinsman. He did it for the Most High's name's sake. That's why I said those who are called by my name. So if you use Ruth for the example, although he told people, I'm gonna use brother Aiel for this case. Although he told us not to marry him, but well, can I use that? No, he only did it because they're Salaki. I can't use brother Aiel in this case. Forgive me, brother Aiel, for bringing up your name. He only did it because Ruth's husband Malin had passed away. So according to the law, he had to marry her. Somebody in Israel had to marry her. But it wasn't out of disobedience that he did it. And the fact that she was so loyal and consistent and persistent to serve the Most High, that's why he did it. This is not every case. But there are some called by his name that he said he's going to cause to do this. And they're going to be in position to bless Israel. Stay true to the story. Stay true to the doctrine. Only reason Boaz married Ruth was because Mahlon was an Israelite close to Boaz. He wasn't the nearest of kin, but he was the kin. Let me put it this way. Boaz, let's say if he was from Judah, right? Says he's from the southern kingdom. Mahlon was from Judah, but he was really a further distant relative from the northern kingdom. He was an Ephrathite. That covers the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom. And because this Ephrathite married a stranger that was loyal to her Israelite mother-in-law, and she was obedient to the laws of the Most High gave her favor. But that was by his decree, because the other sister went back to worship her people's God. That's why Ruth was called by his name. Somehow, something popped up on my screen and said related content. Well, let somebody else read that. I don't need your help. Told you let the Spirit lead me to lead it. Are you the Spirit? Is the Spirit in the computer? Well, if you ain't the Spirit, he told me to listen to the Spirit, not to man. I don't need your interpretation while you trying to include yourself. I'm being led by the Spirit. Then Naomi, her mother-in-law, said to her, "My daughter, shall I not seek rest for you, that it may be well with you?" Implying marriage. And now is not Boaz of our kindred, with whose maidens you was? Behold, he winnoweth barley tonight in the threshing floor. Wash thyself, therefore, and anoint you, and put your raiment upon you, and get you down to the floor, threshing floor. But make not yourself known unto the man until he shall have done eating and drinking. It shall be when he lieth down that you shall mark the place where he shall lie. And you shall go in and uncover your feet and lay down, and he will tell you what you should do. Let me say another thing. Right, this thought just came to my head. See, sometimes man will try to dictate Most High's will, like putting comments in the sections that don't belong there, or try to put women in places that don't belong with you. And I'm gonna say something that sounds filthy, but it's relative to real life. Sometimes men who think they holy will send a woman unto you thinking that this is a holy woman, and they esteem you as that's a good man right there. You are a good man, a good. I'll say there's some good women too, but in this case I'm talking about the man, and you are a good man, but that woman ain't righteous, and they trying to give you a Jezebel in disguise as a Ruth. So like one of the brothers GMS said, I'm just gonna term he said, the Most High won't put his hand on it, and he'll make you do some filthy stuff. Not make you, but he'll allow you to do some filthy stuff to just show that that's not the person or the woman he had for you. So she'll walk away with her jaws full. Then they'll say, I thought that was a righteous man. Nah, that's just wasn't Most High's will for you. Repent and move on. Because if that was the woman for you, you wouldn't have filled her jaws up. Most High would have changed your mind and had you do something righteous to her. Consider those things. Because the Most High controls all things. And just for the sake of things, in this world, men try to control everything. They put people around you in apartments and different things. They stomp on the floor and make noise while you're doing things to try to influence what you say. But I'm gonna be led by the Spirit. As far as I know, in the Word, say the Most High don't live upstairs or next door. He don't dwell in temples made with hands. So people that's making noise and all those kind of things to persuade what I say has no bearing on me. Wash yourself, therefore, and anoint you, and put your raiment upon you, and get you down to the floor, the threshing floor. 2 Samuel 24. And the king said unto Araunah, Nay, but I will surely buy it of you at a price. Neither will I offer burnt offerings unto the law, my God, of that which does cost me nothing. So David bought the threshing floor and the oxen for 50 shekels of silver. 1 Chronicles 21 and 25. So David gave to Ornan for the place 600 shekels of gold by weight. See, I'm too stubborn to listen to fleshly men. They try to tell me to do the Most High's work. If you had the answer, would have been delivered already. That's why he sent me and others like me. Because if I listen to you, I'll be preaching the doctrines of devils, which would take us from this brink of deliverance back to captivity. I'm not here to keep you in captivity. I'm here to free you. Isaiah 21 and 10. Oh, my threshing, the corn of my floor, that which I have heard of the law of hosts. The God of Israel have I declared unto you. Oh, my threshing. Oh, my threshing. Oh, my threshed one. The son of my threshing floor, the prophet. Thus address the Israelites who will survive Babylon's downfall. I'm the threshing floor. I'm the threshed one, giving this message. So why would I listen to you when the Most High is giving me the perfect message to deliver us? See, the Most High Spirit took me somewhere totally different than what you put up. Why would I listen to you? Oh, my threshing, meaning, oh, my threshed one, and son of my threshing floor, the prophet. Thus address the Israelites who will survive Babylon's downfall. That's what I'm talking to. You trying to send me to redeem Esau? No, he told Esau, you better cling to me. But I already told you already, don't stand too close to me because I don't trust you. You do what I tell you to do so you can survive. To Esau, you devils. But there's only me a remnant if you call by his name. Ruth 3 and 3. Wash yourself, therefore, and anoint you, and put your remnant upon you, and get you down to the floor. But make not yourself known unto the man until he shall have done eating and drinking. It shall be when he lieth down that you shall mark the place where he shall lie. And you shall go in and uncover his feet and lay you down, and he will tell you what you shall do. I already told you what to do. And she said unto her, all that you said unto me, I will do. Did you say it? Or are you trying to tell me what to do? I don't need you to tell me what to do. Most High is telling me to tell you what to do. And she went down unto the floor, the prophet, the thresher. That's why she bowed down to his feet. See, that's why you're not going to make it, because you're still trying to tell me what to do. And the Most High going to kill you. You better humble yourself and bow down. And she went down unto the floor and did according to all that her mother-in-law bade her. And when Boaz had eaten and drunk, and his heart was merry, he went down at the end of the heap of corn, grain. And she came softly and uncovered his feet and laid her down. Then she bowed down to his feet. And it came to pass at midnight that the man was afraid and turned himself, and behold, a woman lay at his feet. And he said, who art you? And she answered, I am Ruth, your handmaid, your slave. Spread therefore the skirt over your handmaid, for you are a near kinsman. Ruth 2:20. And Naomi said unto her daughter-in-law, blessed be he of whom the law, who hath not left off his kinsman, his kindness to the living and to the dead. And Naomi said unto her, the man is near of kin unto us, one of our next kinsmen. And he said, blessed be you of the law, my daughter, for you have showed more, for you have showed more kindness in the latter end than at the beginning, in so much that you follow not young men, whether poor or rich. And now, my daughter, fear not. I will do to you all that you require. For all the city of my people does know that you are a virtuous woman. Proverbs 12:4. A virtuous woman is a crown to her husband, but she that maketh a shame is a rottenness to his bones. That's why that rottenness to his bones get her jaws filled up without a husband. Moroni 9:9, and which outstanding, and notwithstanding this great abomination of the Lamanites, the American Israelites, it did not exceed that our people in Moratum, for behold, many of the daughters of the American Israelites, the Lamanites, have they taken prisoners. And after depriving them of that which was most dear and precious above all things, which is chastity and virtue, they got their jaws filled up. And now it is true that I am your near kinsman. Howbeit there is a kinsman nearer than I. Deuteronomy 25:5. If brethren dwell together, and one of them die and have no child, the wife of the dead shall not marry without unto a stranger. Her husband's brother shall go in unto her, and take her to him to wife, and perform the duty of a husband's brother unto her. He's trying to keep it all in Israel. That's why he said, keep it in the family as far as cousins. Back this was basically all of us are brothers and cousins and etc. Keep it in the family so that if a stranger's bloodline do come in, at the third generation, it'll still go back to Israel. Just in case somebody just be a disobedient and marry a stranger. But in this case, well, they still married a stranger. That was still disobedient. But the Most High, that was his will for Ruth. But it still applies at the third generation, or how many generations he said in the scripture, according to what stranger. Ruth 3:13. Tarry this night, and it shall be in the morning that if he will perform this unto you, the part of a kinsman, if he will perform unto you the part of a kinsman. Some people, he say he ain't gonna be no kinsman, he gonna kill you. Matthew 22:24, saying, Master, Moses said, if a man die having no children, his brother shall marry his wife and raise up seed unto his brother. Well, let him do the kinsman part. But if he will not do the part of a kinsman unto you, then will I do the part of a kinsman to you. As the law liveth, lie down until the morning. Bow down. Bow down until the harvest is complete, to the gathering of the elect. Don't rise up, though. Don't try to tell the chosen one what to do. The thrusting, the prophet. And she led his feet unto the morning. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. You better bow down during the weeping. And she led his feet unto the morning, and she rose up before one could know another. And he said, let it not be known that a woman came unto the floor. Also, he said, bring the veil that you have upon you and hold it. Cloak, mantle, square piece of cloth used as an outer robe. See, that's the same thing they tried to put in the outline earlier, but it wasn't time yet. So you're going to try to take my timing off. I'm not listening to you. trying to take the Most High's timing off. Also, he said, bring the veil that you have upon you and hold it. When she held it, he measured 6 measures of barley and laid it on her, and she went into the city. And when she came to her mother-in-law, she said, who are you, my daughter? And she told her all that the man had done to her. He said, if you bow down instead of getting your jaws filled up, then you'll be able to tell your mother-in-law what the man really did unto you. And she said, these 6 measures of barley gave he me. For he said to me, go not empty into your mother-in-law. Then said she, sit still, my daughter, until you know how the matter will fall. For the man will not be in rest until he have finished the things this day. The thing this day. Ruth chapter 4, the header. The nearest relative declines, and Boaz takes Ruth to wife. Ruth bears Obed, through whom came David the king. Let's see. Obed, David, Solomon. The Most High told David to build a house, but he said, David, you got too much blood on your hand from the bloody man. Therefore, your son shall build me a house. 3rd generation. You should not come into the tabernacle of the Most High until after the 3rd generation. Speaking of Edom. Therefore, there's no more Edom left. It's all Israelite. The nearest relative declines, and Boaz takes Ruth to wife. Ruth bears Obed, through whom came David. David, who came Solomon. That's 3 generations. And through them, that line came Messiah. And through Messiah came us. That's why he said he's not going to allow the house of Joseph to be like our ancestors. We're not supposed to marry them. That we can walk pure into the kingdom. And I ain't stumbled nor fell or nothing. That's the truth. He said, I'm not gonna suffer you to be like your ancestors. That's why I said at the fall of Babylon, not one of them will be left, except the remnant called by my name to be your servant. And those who are going to be the servants, they better bow down and stay close to us to the morning. Then with Boaz up to the gate, Genesis 23:10. And Ephron dwelt among the children of Heth. And Ephron, the Hittites, answered Abraham in the audience of the children of Heth, even of all that went in at the gate of his city, saying, Joshua 20:4, and when he that does flee unto one of those cities shall stand at the entering of the gate of the city, and shall declare his cause in the ears of the elders of the city, they shall take him into the city unto them, and give him a place that he may dwell among them. And behold, the kinsman whom Boaz spake came by. Ruth 2:20. And Naomi said unto her daughter-in-law, Blessed be he of whom the law, who has not left off his kindness to the living and to the dead. And Naomi said unto her, The man is near of kin unto us, one of our next kinsmen. Naomi said that. Us. Only reading. See, you devils is always trying to get in on the goods. He said, only way you getting in is if you bow down and give back 4 times what you're taking. You can't get away from that. It said, and Naomi said to her daughter-in-law. How did she become a daughter-in-law? Because her husband, who shouldn't have married her in the first place, but the only thing about the decree of the Most High, he did it. Boaz, according to the law, did what was righteous. That you may have a servant and handmaid. And Ruth was humble. She accepted her part. And because of that, the kings came through her also. But guess what? Those kings that came from her were Israelites. Because the Moabite was no longer in that line. After the 3rd generation. But her other sister, Orpah, all of her children are pure Moabites. Because she went back to serve her gods. That's the difference. So the Most High's word still ain't lied. Just like an Edomite. After the 3rd generation, they're going to be Israelites. Because the bloodline of Edom going to be gone. Because the Israelite man who had a baby with a Moabite or Edomite woman, once they stay true to the law, their children, who is an Israelite, going to marry another Israelite. And then their children, who is an Israelite, going to marry another Israelite. And guess what? Now they're Israelites. The wickedness has been bred out. But they got to start out with a man who is an Israelite. Can't be a man who is a Edomite. You got to start out with the royal blood, the royal sperm, the royal seed. That's why Boaz had to be the Kinsman Redeemer, who was an Israelite. Then went Boaz up to the gate and set him down there. And behold, the kinsman of whom Boaz spake came by, unto whom he said, Ho. In Hebrew, a manner of address to a certain unnamed person or as Mr. So and so. Mr. So and so, such a one. Turn aside, sit down here. And he turned aside and sat down. And he took 10 men of the elders of the city and said, Sit ye down here. And they sat down. Joshua 20:4. And when that he does flee unto one of those cities, shall stand at the entering of the gate of the city and shall declare his cause in the ears of the elders of that city. See, you wicked, you not bowing down, you trying to force your way in. So you're not going to get a good report from the elders. They shall take him into the city unto them and give him a place that he may dwell among them. And he said unto the kinsman, Naomi, that is come again out of the country of Moab, selleth a parcel of land, which was our brother Elimelech's. And I thought to advertise you, saying, Buy it before the inhabitants and before the elders of my people. Leviticus 25:25. If your brother be waxing poor, and has sold away some of his possession, and if any of his kin come to redeem it, then shall he redeem that which his brother sold. But if you will not redeem it, then tell me. See, that's like the Most High said. If they continue to do these things, then tell me, and then I'm going to do what I'm going to do. If they don't give back what you 4 times what they taken, then tell me. Then I'm going to redeem it. And they ain't going to like the way I'm going to redeem it. But if you will not redeem it, then tell me that I may know. For there is none to redeem it besides you. And I'm after you. And he said, I will redeem it. Then said Boaz, what day you buy it the field of the hand of Naomi, you must buy it also of Ruth, the Moabitess. See, Ruth attached herself to Naomi, the Israelite woman. So when he bought, that's kind of what they did in slavery, but they just did it wickedly. See, instead of giving it back to who it really belongs to, they got the reparations to the slave owner and sold the slave with him. They just everything they do, they try to do it scripturally, but they do it wickedly. Ruth came along with the owner. Then said Boaz, that day you buy at the field of the hand of Naomi, you must buy it also of Ruth, the Moabitess. See, she come along with Ruth. That's why he said you got to stay close to us and be obedient and bow down. So when he redeemed us, if by you sticking close to us, you'll come as our property. You come along with us. That's why I say those who will not serve you, I'm going to detach them from being with you, and now I'm going to judge them according to their righteousness. Death. Then said Boaz, what day you buy at the field of the hand of Noam, you must buy it also of Ruth, the Moabitess, the wife of the dead, widows, to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance. Deuteronomy 25, 5-6. If brethren dwell together, and one of them die and have no child, the wife of the dead shall not marry unto a stranger. The wife of the dead shall not marry out unto a stranger. That's why I said you should not be like your forefathers. You gonna keep my law. Therefore, you're not gonna marry no strangers, like I told you in the first place. That's the elect. If brethren dwell together, and one of them die and have no child, the wife of the dead shall not marry without unto a stranger. See, that's how he's going to get it back to Israel. You ain't supposed to marry no stranger. You got to go and marry your brother's brother, who is an Israelite, to bring it back home to be in Israel. Her husband's brother shall go into her and take her to him to wife, and perform the duty of a husband, brother unto her. And it shall be that the firstborn which she beareth shall succeed in the name of his brother, which is dead, that his name be not be put out of Israel. It doesn't really say it, but even John the Baptist's mother, who was married to his dad, the people was trying to persuade him to name the baby after him, the child after him, John after him. But the angel said, no, name him John. But his voice was taken away from him, so the people were trying to persuade Elizabeth to name the child something else after his dad. But John's dad asked for a piece of paper. He wrote down, say the child's name is John. So maybe that was the case in his situation, because he didn't name the child after himself. He named it after his brother, John, possibly. Story don't say that, but I'm inferring that after reading this, of why he didn't name his son after him. It shall be that the firstborn which shall be buried shall succeed in the name of his brother, which is dead, that his name may be not put out of Israel. The name. Ruth chapter 4, verse 5. Then said Boaz, what day you buy at the field of the hand of Naomi, you must buy it also of Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of the dead, to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance. And the kinsman said, I cannot redeem it for myself. Selfishness. And the kinsman said, I cannot redeem it for myself. Selfish. Lest I mar my own inheritance. Deuteronomy 25, 5-6. If brethren dwell together and one of them die and have no child, the wife of the dead shall not marry without unto a stranger. See, that's once again, Esau is trying to put off something on Israel that's not so. Don't listen to Esau. Listen to the word. And the kinsman said, I cannot redeem it for myself. Selfishness. Lest I mar my own inheritance. See, the devil is trying to use my uncle's inheritance, property that was sold, that was my inheritance, for a lot of quote unquote money. I'm using the terms. They're gonna try to make me give it away because they trying to be deceptive. They ain't got nothing to do with me, other than the Most High gave it to me, because he controls who leaves this earth. This ain't got nothing to do with my inheritance that's coming from the Most High. That also comes from the Most High. And I ain't got to feel ashamed about receiving it. You devils, if it was yours, you wouldn't be complaining about nothing. You would gladly take it. And you ain't gonna deceive me out of it. Because I don't listen to you. I listen to the spirit. And you ain't the spirit. You a devil. That's why I tell you, I don't want nothing that's not mine by right. That's good faith. Whatever you got going on behind the scenes ain't got nothing to do with me. That's on you. I ain't had nothing to do with it. That's your bad faith and that's your devilish practices, which is null and void. That's why I let it be known to the whole world. Why are you telling your business? Because I got devils doing stuff behind the scene that if I don't tell my business, they're going to try to use it against me because they got stuff that they're plotting that I don't know nothing about. That's why I tell my business. Because they know my business anyway. So I tell my business publicly as a public announcement to let you know I don't know what's going on behind the scene in bad faith. But they've already told you through their private attorney, the Roman Catholic Pope's private attorney, that all of the bad faith actions are null and void and is to be charged against them. Just like the pizza the other day. My son came, and later on he said he don't want to pay for it. I said, I'm going to give it back to you when you come and take me to the market. But how was I supposed to know that when you come give me a pizza and don't ask for no money from me? That's why I'm trying to get to the bottom of it. Let me see what you're trying to do. I don't know what you're doing. By right, you should be giving me a pizza for free. But I don't know what you're doing. That's why I tell everything what's going on in my life. So they can't come back later and say, nah, you was being deceptive. No, I wasn't. I don't know what you're doing behind the scenes. All I know is I'm trying to behave in good faith. You the ones that's always being devils. I don't know what you're doing behind the scenes. So I tell you, don't give me nothing that's not mine by right. Because I didn't ask for it. I didn't ask for my uncle to die. But that's in the Most High's hands. So that means it comes from him, not you. And you ain't got no say-so in the matter. So give me what's mine by right and stay out of my way. And I have not sinned. Therefore, you can never do nothing to me in bad faith and charge it against me. That's charged against you. Because you have already admitted to wrongdoing through the Roman Catholic Pope's private attorney, who is the head of all you snakes. And he said, if you keep on bothering us, you're going to Geronimo, what they call it? Geronimo Bay or death. Most High showed you yesterday in the sealed portion. Those he sealed, he said, we're off limits to you. Do not touch us. Only people in your jurisdiction. And I'm not in it. And I can't be brought back into it because I've been sealed. All the truth is on my side. So anything that goes in bad faith, that's more charges against you. I got the right to dwell where I dwell, and a zip code can't be charged to me because that belongs to the corporation. That's how you know how to send packages and different things that we order to us. They don't put us under your jurisdiction. We have the right to dwell wherever we want to dwell. Deuteronomy 25 for more. And the kinsman said, I cannot redeem it for myself, lest I mar my own inheritance. See, I'm not marring mine. You're trying to mar it. But you can't. Because you already acknowledged through your highest power, told you to stand down. And then the highest power told him to stand down, who told you to stand down. So you have no legs to stand on me. The only thing you can do is flee. And pay out what is owed. In my case, to me. And I can do whatever I want to do, like the Most High said, friend, I've done you no wrong. Can I not do with my own money what I want? And you ain't got no say-so. It's up to me to do righteous with it. And you ain't got no say-so to make nobody block from what I'm trying to tell them to do to be righteous. You got to move out the way, Satan. Get out the way. Get you away from me, the devil. See, what the devil is, he always tries to use the scripture in his favor, but you're a devil. You're wicked. You can't use the scriptures in your favor because the scriptures going to always confound you because you don't have no wisdom in the scriptures. It always exposes you as to being a devil. Deuteronomy 25, 5-6. If brethren dwell together, and one of them die and have no child, the wife of the dead shall not marry without unto a stranger. Her husband's brother shall go in unto her and take her to him to wife, and perform the duty of a husband's brother unto her. And it shall be that the firstborn which she beareth shall succeed in the name of his brother which is dead, that his name be not put out of Israel. Redeem you my right to thyself. Redeem you my right to yourself, for I cannot redeem it. Now this was the manner in the former time in Israel concerning the redeeming and concerning changing. Exchanging, doing business. For to confirm all things, a man plucked off his shoe. Deuteronomy 25, 5 through 10. If brethren dwell together, and one of them die and have no child, wife of the dead shall not marry without unto a stranger. Her husband's brother shall go in unto her, and take her to him to wife, and perform the duty of a husband's brother unto her. I just had a thought came to me and says, Edomites, all those nations that's going to cling to us, bow down into the morning. Come down from your high horses and do what the scripture tell you to do. And it should be well with you. If not, he's going to kill you. And it shall be that the firstborn which he beareth shall succeed in the name of his brother which is dead, that his name be not put out of Israel. And if the man like not to take his brother's wife, then let his brother's wife go up to the gate unto the elders. So he's telling you what happened. This don't apply to everybody. And if the man like not to take his brother's wife, then let his brother's wife go up to the gate unto the elders and say, my husband's brother refuses to raise up unto his brother a name in Israel. He will not perform the duty of my husband's brother. Then the elders of his city shall call him and speak unto him. But the brother got to be dead, though. You can't be talking about, I didn't like him and I divorced him, but now you got to marry me. Because you came into an inheritance, now you got to marry and take it. Nah, you's a devil. You trying to cause the other brother to get into sin and die. Then the elders of his city shall call him and speak unto him, and if he stand to it and say, I like not to take her, then shall his brother's wife come unto him in the presence of the elders and loose his shoe from off his feet and spit in his face. Well, you better make sure you're right when you do this, because some of the men in Israel might spit back in your face, especially if you lying. And shall answer and say, so shall it be done unto that man that will not build up his brother's house. And his name shall be called in Israel the house of him that has his shoes loosed. When the Most High appeared to Moses, said, take off your shoes, for you are now on holy ground. Being loose from the wicked. Now, this was the manner in former time in Israel concerning changing, for to conform all things a man plucked off his shoe and gave it to his neighbor. And this was a testimony in Israel. Therefore the kinsman said unto Boaz, buy it for you. So he drew it off his shoe. And Boaz said unto the elders and unto all the people, you are witnesses this day that I have bought all that was Amalek's and all that was Chilians and Malins of the hand of Naomi. Guess how Orpah forfeited hers? She didn't cling to Naomi. And that was by the decree of the Most High, because she would have clinged to Naomi. She would have been included in the redemption. But she went back to Moab, who the Most High cursed, and worshiped their gods. But he called Ruth by his name. Because Boaz bought all that was Amalek's and all that was Chilions and Malins. See, she lost out. That's why Naomi tested them so. She told him about 3 times, go back, go back, go back. But Ruth said, I won't go back. I'm going to stick with you. I'm going to be the Most High's daughter. I'm going to be the Most High's daughter. No, stop it. I'm staying with you. So the Most High said, so be it. But Orpah lost out. She went back just like Lot's wife, although Lot's wife was an Israelite. Or maybe she wasn't. But anyway it goes down, Orpah went back and went back to her own people and worshiped their gods. So she's not mentioned no more. She is not. And Boaz said unto the elders and unto all the people, you are witnesses this day that I have bought all that was Amalek's and all that was Chilions and Malins and of the hand of Naomi. He redeemed the Israelites from the northern kingdom named Chilion and Malin, who are also part of the house of Judah. And that's what got it all going, redeeming his kinsman's name to remain in Israel. But because of their departing, Ruth clung to Naomi, the woman, and she was redeemed. To bring forth kings, but eventually Ruth's bloodline, all the Moabite was gone after the 3rd generation. All remained was Israel. But Ruth clung to him and stayed close, like he told her. And she didn't rise up. Therefore, she's a maiden in the kingdom. Moreover, Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of Mahlon, have I purchased to be my wife, to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance. What names does he raise up? David, King Solomon, King Yahawah, King Jacob, named Israel, and the 12 tribes, all kings and priests, 112,000 each one, except Dan, who became a Philistine nation. Moreover, Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of Mahlon, have I purchased to be my wife, to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance, that the name of the dead may be not cut off from among his brethren and from the gate of his place. You are witnesses this day. See, the Most High, he did this for the sake that not one Israelite will lose his inheritance, for his name's sake. Deuteronomy 25:6. And it shall be that the firstborn which he beareth shall succeed in the name of his brother which is dead, that his name be not put out of Israel. That's the reason why Ruth was brought in. Because if Mahlon would never have died, Ruth would have never came in. And the reason the Most High brought her in was to raise up the name of Mahlon. So his inheritance will remain in Israel. His name will remain in Israel. Moreover, Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of Mahlon, have I purchased to be my wife, to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance, that the name of the dead be not cut off from among his brethren and from the gate of his place. You are witnesses this day. And all the people that were in the gate and the elders said, we are witnesses. The law make the woman that is come into your house like Rachel and like Leah, which two did build the house of Israel. Rachel, Leah, and Ruth, that he just mentioned, brought forth children in Israel. And do you worthily in Ephratah, and be famous in Bethlehem. May you do well. And Ephratite. Ephrathites are Ephraimites, the northern kingdom. and be famous in Bethlehem. And let your house be like Pharez, whom Tamar bare unto Judah, of the seed which the law shall give you of this young woman. So Boaz took Ruth, and she was his wife. And when he went into her, the law gave her conception, and she bare a son. And the women said unto Naomi, Blessed be the law, which has not left you this day without a kinsman, that his name may be famous in Israel. And he shall be unto you a restorer of your life, and a nourisher in your old age. Old age. For your daughter-in-law, which loveth you, which is better to you than 7 sons, have borne him. And Naomi took the child and laid it upon her bosom, became nurse unto it. And the women, her neighbors gave it a name, saying, There is a son born to Naomi, and they called his name Obed. He is the father of Jesse, the father of David. Now these are the generations of Pharez. Genesis 31, 1 through 30. I'm just going to read the first one, to about verse 3, because this is a long verse, and I don't want to read all that because I got some more to go. Genesis 38, 1 through 3. But it goes to 1 through 30. You read it on your own time. And it came to pass at that time that Judah went down from his brethren and turned in to a certain Adullamite, who was named Hira. And Judah saw there a daughter of certain Canaanite, whose name was Shua. And he took her and went into her. And she conceived and bare a son and called his name And she conceived again and bare a son, and she called his name Onan. And she yet again conceived and bare a son. I'm going to stop to the end of this part. And called his name Shelah, and he went at Chizib. Then she bare him. Read the rest. Now these are the generations, because Most High said, don't marry a Canaanite. That's why Most High said, we are not supposed to, he's not going to allow us or suffer us to be like unto our ancestors, marrying those nations and doing those sins they did, marrying more than one wife and all these things. He's not going to suffer us to do that, not his elect. Now these are the generations of Pharez. Pharez begot Hezron, and Hezron begot Ram, and Ram begot Amminadab, and Amminadab begot Nahshon, and Nahshon begot Salmon, and Salmon begot Boaz. Matthew 1 and 5. And Salmon begot Boaz of Rachab, and Booz begot Obed of Ruth, and Obed begot Jesse. And Solomon begot Boaz, and Boaz begot Obed, and Obed begot Jesse, and Jesse begot David. Numbers, chapter 35, Northern Kingdom edition. The Levites are to possess their own cities. Cities of refuge are established for those guilty of manslaughter. Murders are to be executed by the revenger of blood. I'm going to read this verse 12 before I go down there to 35. Before I read 16 through 21, I'm going to read verse 12. And they shall be unto you cities for refuge from the avenger. This goes along with what we just read. You got to come to the gate humble, bowing down when you come to the elders, the judges. Joshua 23 through 6, that the slayer that killeth in person unawares and unwittingly may flee thither. If you do it by accident, or you don't know you did it. They shall be your refuge from the avenger of blood. And when he that does flee into one of those cities, you better come with 4 times what you've taken though. And when he that doeth flee into one of those cities shall stand at the entering of the gate of the city, and shall declare his cause in the ears of the elders of the city. They shall take him into the city unto them and give him a place that he may dwell among them. And if the avenger of blood pursue after him, then they shall not deliver the slayer up unto his hand. See, that's why a lot of you just say, the Edomites say, well, I wasn't there. Well, get back 4 times you take it and come to the city and repent. And if the avenger of blood pursue after him, then they shall not deliver the slayer up unto his hand, because he smote his neighbor unwittingly and hated him not before time. Well, that eliminate most of you, because he said Esau, because you've had a perpetual hatred. Because he smote his neighbor unwittingly and hated him not before time. And he shall dwell in that city until he stand before the congregation for judgment, and until the death of the high priest that shall be in those days. Then shall the slayer return and come unto his own city and into his own house, unto the city from whence he fled. Well, Esau, all of that city that you gonna be destroyed. I mean, you're gonna have to be without the city and serve us. And they shall be unto you cities for refuge. I'm just going to continue to get to where I'm going. From the avenger, that the manslayer die not until he stand before the congregation in judgment. You standing before the congregation right now, because we're here to judge. Let me read it to you. Obadiah 1:21, and Savior shall come upon Mount Zion to judge the mount of Esau, and the kingdom shall be the Lord's. And many of y'all still boast with arrogant, trying to tell me what to do. Your only hope of salvation, and you still being arrogant. So therefore, you know your judgment. When I say me, I'm talking about all those who are called in Israel to be judges, who teach and preach according to the truth. Precept on precept, line upon line, precept on precept. And of these cities which you shall give, 6 cities shall you have for refuge. So I try and tell you, build that over there. Oh, by the riverside. You should give 3 cities on this side of Jordan, and 3 cities you shall give in the land of Canaan, which shall be cities of refuge. These cities shall be a refuge for both the children of Israel and for the stranger. Numbers 15 through 16. One ordinance shall be both for you of the congregation and also for the stranger that is journeys with you. An ordinance forever in your generations. As you are, so shall the stranger be before Yahweh. One law, one manner shall be for you, and for the strangers shall join it with you. Joshua 20:9. These were the cities appointed for all the children of Israel and for the stranger that sojourned with them, that whosoever killeth any person that in unawares might flee thither, and not die by the hand of the avenger of blood until he stood before the congregation. And for the sojourner among them, that everyone that killeth any person unawares may flee thither. And if he smite him with an instrument of iron so that he die, he is a murderer. The murderer shall surely be put to death. Genesis 9:10 through 13. The blood of all flesh, which I have given for you for meat, shall be shed upon the ground, which taketh life thereof, and the blood you shall not eat. And surely blood shall not be shed only for meat, to save your lives. And the blood of every beast will I require at your hands. And whosoever sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. That's why he gave the decree against Mount Edom. He said, since you love blood so much, I'm going to make you drink of it. And you're going to drink so much of it till it's going to be as you have never been. And I'm going to do it according to your own envy. I'm going to get down according to how you get down. And whosoever sheddeth a man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. For man shall not shed the blood of man. Remember he said the difference between man and the others called man is his image. For a commandment I give, that every man's brother shall preserve the life of man. For my own image have I made man. Deuteronomy 19:11 through 13. But if any man hate his neighbor, and lie in wait for him, and rise up against him, and smite him mortally, that he die and flee into one of these cities, Then the elders of his city shall send and fetch him thence, and deliver him into the hand of the avenger of blood, that he may die. And your eyes shall not pity him, but shall put away the guilt of innocent blood from Israel, and it may go well with you. 2 Nephi 9:35, woe unto destruction unto the murderers who deliberately kill, for he shall die. That's why he gave judgment on Edom. Because y'all love the kid. That's what y'all do. The murderer shall be put to death. Capital punishment. In Israel, they're talking about Donald Trump, right? That's what all IUIC and all the ones talking about. Donald Trump talking about bringing back capital punishment. Remember, he said, in the same word, he said Donald Trump was a man of honor. I'm not saying he's righteous, but he was called for a purpose. And he was the same one that said, you don't like Indians to me? So if he's bringing back capital punishment, he's bringing it back for murderers. And that's going to be according to the Most High's decree. He already gave them the command. He said, touch not my prophets, or do not touch my anointed, and do my prophets no harm. So the capital punishment ain't coming for you. He already told them in the sealed portion, hurt not until I've sealed my servants in their foreheads, and do not touch them. I read that to you yesterday. I'll read it to you again, if I can remember where it's at. Off the head. Let me see if I can remember. I believe it's the sealed portion 32. Let's see. That's why he said he does nothing unless he tells his prophets first. Sealed portion, chapter 32, verse 61. Now this is the thing that John meant when he wrote, saying, his eyes were as flames of a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. And he had a name written upon his forehead that no man knew but he himself. And John wrote also concerning those who followed the example of Messiah, and had his name or the name of the Father. It is the same written in their foreheads. Do not touch. Nah, it's the fullness of the gospel, but he said don't touch. And he wrote, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads. And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having the name of his Father written in their foreheads. And there shall be no more curse. Lamentation 4, chapter 1 to 21 to 22. Your captivity is over, Zion. Now I'm going to visit Esau's sin, and those who are clinging to Esau instead of letting them cling to you. So those clinging to Esau, you probably get beheaded. And there shall be no more curse. But the throne of God and of the Lamb shall be in it, and his servants shall serve him. And they shall see his face, and his name shall be in their foreheads. And now to those who do not have the mark of the Lamb in their foreheads, even the majority of you in the latter days, more especially those of you in the United States Corporation, as United States citizens, refusing to claim who you really are in Israel, especially those of you in this eighth kingdom that is risen out of the seventh, John also giveth you warning, saying, it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not had the seal of God in their forehead. Now I'm going to continue where I didn't continue the other day. Verse 66. This is who's going to get their heads chopped off. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image and receive his mark in his forehead, where it already tell you that you can't help having it in your hand. Talking about the quote unquote mark of the number of the beast is the money, but in your hand meaning your works. Your works ain't got nothing to do with money, because you can do good with the mark of the number of the beast. But you can't do good with his mark in your hand. That means you doing his evil deeds like gang stalking. And you can't say you wasn't, because they already got you down as you didn't accepted gifts and all those things from them for doing it. So they know who you are. Off with your head. Hope you enjoyed it. And guess what? Donald Trump knows it too. He knows everybody on the list who was doing it. You better repent and run to the water. And hopefully the Most High will allow you into one of those cities for refuge. If any man worship the beast in his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, the same cup given to Esau, which is poured out without mixture unto the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels, in the presence of the Lamb. Joy, sir. And if he smite him with an instrument of iron, so that this is a Numbers 35 and 16, Northern Kingdom version. And if he smite him with an instrument of iron, so that he die. What is the instrument of iron people use today? Guns, knife. But at the same time, Most High said, if somebody's trying to do this to you, you got the right to use those same instruments on them, and you are not held charge to you, according to the Most High. You have the right to defend your life or your neighbor's life, your freedom. Same thing Moses did. So you're justified before him. And if he smite him with an instrument of iron so that he die, and he is a murderer, the murderer shall surely be put to death. Capital punishment. Well, if you're a gang stalker, you're still murdering. You're not going to be excused. Driving people out of their minds onto heart attacks and suicide, you're guilty. You going too. Better repent. And if you smite him with throwing a stone, wherewith he may die, and he die, he is a murderer. The murderer shall surely be put to death. Didn't it say through the sealed portion, through the books of remembrance, that Cain thought he got away from killing Abel, although he didn't literally hit him with a stone? He used witchcraft, which caused the stone to kill his brother. That's what gang stalking is, witchcraft, sorcery. You guilty. Off with you. Better repent. Or if he smite him with a hand weapon of wood, wherewith he may die, and he die, he is a murderer. The murderer shall surely be put to death. The revenger of blood himself shall slay the murderer. The Kinsman Redeemer. 2 Samuel 14:11. Then said she, I pray thee, let the king redeemer of the law, your God, that thou wouldest not suffer the revenger of blood to destroy any more, lest they destroy my son. And he said, as the law liveth, there shall not one hair of your son fall to the earth. But if he thrust him of hatred, or hurl him by a lane of weight, that he die. But if he stab him of hatred, or hurl him by a lane of weight, that he die, or in enmity smite him with his hand, that he die, he that smote him shall surely be put to death, for he is a murderer. The revenger of blood shall slay the murderer when he meeteth him. Because the Most High says, when I come visit you. But if he thrust him suddenly without enmity, or have cast upon him anything without laying of weight, just out of hurl at him, or with any stone wherewith a man may die, seeing him not, and cast it upon him, you throw a stone and you weren't trying to hit him. And it was not his enemy, neither sought his harm. Then the congregation shall judge between the slayer and the revenger of blood according to these judgments. And the congregation shall deliver the slayer out of the hand of the revenger of blood. And the congregation shall restore him to the city of his refuge, where he was fled. And he shall abide in it until the death of the high priest, which was anointed with the holy oil. Leviticus 21:10-15. And he that is the high priest among his brethren, upon whose head the anointing oil was poured. Now, take this away from your church. We found out that the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost never been to your church. Because one ain't coming without the other, and that's the church of the devil. So you was never anointed. So if you judge somebody being a high priest of the devil, you're going to die. And the judgment that you brought up against the righteous not going to stand. And he that is the high priest among his brethren, upon whose head the anointing oil was poured, and that is consecrated to put on the garments, shall not uncover his head nor rend his clothes. Caiaphas rended his clothes in the judgment of the Messiah, and he was wicked. He unrendered his clothes to his own judgment of death. But although he prophesied in truth when he did that day, he prophesied, but to his own demise. Neither shall he go into any dead body, nor defile himself for his father. Told you, when you fornicating, you going into a dead body. When you go into a church, you going into a dead body. Because that is the sacrifice unto Baal, or whatever name he goes under those days. Satan. Neither shall he go into any dead body, nor defile himself for his father or for his mother. Neither shall he go out of the sanctuary, nor profane the sanctuary of his God. See, Messiah, they told the story yesterday, how Messiah's mother knew Messiah. So they said, we're going to follow and see what this man about to do. But they didn't enter into that defiled sanctuary. When Messiah, being the judge, he entered in to judge them. And they showed exactly who they are by trying to throw him over the cliff. But guess what? The holy angels came down and said, not today. Neither shall he go out of the sanctuary, nor profane the sanctuary of his God. For the crown of the anointing oil of his God is upon him. I am the Lord. And the congregation delivered the slayer out of the hand of the revenger of blood. And the congregation to restore him to the city of his refuge, whither he was fled. And he shall abide in it until the death of the high priest, which was anointed with the holy oil. But if the slayer should at any time come without the border of the city of refuge, whither he was fled, that's why he said, you better, if you call by his name, you better do what he said and repent, and you better cling to the house to come into the city of refuge, because if not, you're going to be sent outside of the city of refuge, which ain't going to be good for you. So you better humble yourself, Esau, even the wicked in Israel. But if the slayer shall at any time come without the border of the city of refuge, whither he was fled, outside of, the revenger of blood find him without the borders of the city of his refuge, and the revenger of blood kill the slayer. Capital punishment. See, you better stay in your jurisdiction. That's what that Roman Catholic Pope private attorney was trying to tell you. You better speak up and say that you're an American. Most likely you would speak up and say you're an Israelite American to stay in your own jurisdiction. Because all United States citizens off with the head. especially if you're doing wickedness and killing and slaying the innocent. And you have done it, especially if you're the nations the Most High say you're going to visit. Because you love blood. That's why I say blood going to pursue you until it is being as if you have never been. And the revenger of blood find him without the borders of the city of his refuge. And the revenger of blood kill, capital punishment, the slayer. You know, like no Indians to me. He shall not be guilty of blood. Otherwise, he's telling you Donald Trump not going to be guilty of the blood he's about to take. If that be true, what they say, allegedly, through guillotines. Because you was found outside of the city of refuge. He should not be guilty of blood. Guilty. Because he should have remained in the city of his refuge until the death of the high priest. But after the death of the high priest, the slayer shall return into the land of his possession. So these things shall be for a statute of judgment unto you throughout your generations and all your dwellings. Whosoever killeth any person, the murderer shall. Northern Kingdom, Light, Genesis 9, 10 through 13. But the blood of all flesh which I have given you for meat shall you shed upon the ground, which taketh life thereof, and the blood you shall not eat. And surely blood shall not be shed only for meat, to save your lives. And the blood of every beast will I require at your hands. And whosoever sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. For man shall not shed the blood of man. For a commandment I give, that every man's brother shall preserve the life of man. For in mine own image have I made man. Murderer. The murderer shall be put to death. Capital punishment. By the mouth of witnesses. The elders, the judges sent here to judge the Mount of Esau. That's why the Most High said, come out of her, my people, lest you suffer in her sins. This capital punishment really is for them. You don't look like Indians to me. But if you cling to them and do their wickedness, it's coming for you too. Israel or Jacob. Because all Israelites not going to take part of that. Just the carnal Jacobites are. Whosoever killeth any person, the murderer shall be put to death by the mouth of witnesses. Witnesses. We just found that the witnesses are the elders in Israel. The judges. The high priest. But one witness shall not testify against any person to cause him to die. One witness can't do it. Moreover, you shall take no satisfaction for the life of a murderer. Satisfaction been interpreted ransom, fine. Also verse 32. And you shall take no satisfaction for him that is fled to the city of refuge, that he should come again to dwell in the land until the death of the priest. Moreover, you shall take no ransom or fine for the life of a murderer, which is guilty of death, but he shall be surely put to death. Guilty. Guilty. And you shall take no satisfaction for him that is fled to the city of his refuge, that he should come again to dwell in the land until the death of the priest. So you shall not pollute the land wherein you are, wherein you are. For you shall not pollute the land wherein you are. Pollution, pollute. For blood, it defileth the land. That's why you got to get all the murderers who came here and murdered off the land. And their ancestors and different ones who are here, they got to get 4 times what they taken in order to be considered to be worthy of becoming a slave. And the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it. Can you not see the pronouncement against Edom? Hebrew atonement cannot be made for blood shed in the land except by the blood of him who shed it. Accountability. That's first thing. That's their doctrine. Well, you Negroes got to be accountable. You liars. The word that he puts above his own name saying you the one that got to be accountable. So stop telling people you didn't do it. Get back 4 times what you take. If you want to live. If not, don't worry about it. Defile not therefore the land which you shall inhabit. Leviticus 18:24-30. Defile not yourselves in any of these things, for in all the nations are defiled. Defile not yourselves in any of these things, for in all these the nations are defiled. That's why I say he's going to put a full end of all the nations. But he's going to chasten Israel a little bit. He already did it. But now it's their turn to be drinking the cup of the wrath of his indignation. You don't like Indians to me? Leviticus 18:24-30. Read the rest on your own. I'm just going to read to about 26. Defile not you yourselves in any of these things, for in all these nations are defiled, which I cast out before you. And the land is defiled, therefore I do visit the iniquity upon it. And the land itself vomited out her inhabitants. You shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, and shall not commit any of these abominations, neither any of your own nation, nor any strangers has joined it among you. For all these abominations have the men of the land done, which were before you, and the land is defiled. Wherein I dwell, for I, the law, dwell among the children of Israel. The presence of the Almighty is among the children of Israel. You know, this is so good. I have about 5 more chapters that I want to continue. So I'm going to end part 1. And I'm going to come back, Most High said the same, part 2. And I still have not forgotten about the instructions of war. But I'm going to do what the Spirit lead me to do at that time. So, all praises to the Most High for this wonderful message. I had no intention of telling you anything about Donald Trump today. So that was the Spirit. He said he does not anything except he reveals it to his prophets. And this is the Northern Kingdom's brighter light on the subject. This shall be done. Unto the righteous and to the elect. Shalom.